Hi everyone, I'm Natasha from Buttonnose Crochet and welcome to the Unconditional Love video tutorials. This is part 1 of the pattern that we'll be making, so round 1 to round 18, and I want to just give you a little bit of a background on this design. So back last year in 2021, my daughter was going through a really rough time with her mental health, with her depression and anxiety, and we had some help from the doctors and a psychologist, but it seemed like it wasn't doing enough, and the stress of school was getting to her as well. So I wanted to design a blanket that showed my love, support and affection for my daughter, and to show her that she's not alone in this battle. And unfortunately there are a lot of teens that are actually getting ignored or brushed off with their mental health issues, and I just want to plead to everyone, please listen to them. Yes, teenagers can be difficult at times, but mental health is no joke. We need to listen to them because there's too many of them that are taking their lives, and having your own child considering suicide is not something that any parent wants to learn, and it does break your heart. So this design is very, very close to my heart, and I hope if anyone else is going through any mental health issues, that this design will help you too, because it has so much love and meaning to it. And I just want to send out big hugs to anyone that has been going through a rough time with their mental health, because I know depression is not exactly the best thing to go through, and we need to have a support network, and having that support network will help our teens. Now that you know the background of the design, I want to go through it. So part 1 of the videos, so round 1 to 18, is the flower. So it's an intermediate pattern, because the fact that you're working underneath the petals and you're working your post stitches and you're doing a bit of shaping as well to make the circle a square. And then the second part of the blanket is just your simple granny stitch, and then some fleur-de-lis, which is the stitch pattern for this part here, and then we got some popcorns as well. And then we got the border, which will be the third video, which is just a repeat of the granny and the fleur-de-lis, but I've done puff stitches instead, and I think it just gives a nice little pop to the pattern. Now I used Lion Brand Baby Mandala and Acre Woods for this blanket. I used four cakes, so that's roughly around 2100 meters. Sorry, I don't do yards in Australia, but it's on the label of how many yards it is. Basically, if you want an even color flow, once you finish a square, and say this square we finished with yellow, what we do is when we start the second square, you'll obviously finish halfway through the square when you run out of the ball, because you get about 1.5 squares to a ball of Lion Brand Mandala, and I use 3 balls for the 4 squares. And what you do, I actually got a square here where it's very noticeable. So with this square here, I, the, I actually started started with the leftover blue of the first ball, and I had a tiny bit of green left. So with my second ball, I started with the green and continued on. And that's how this square was done. Now if you finish halfway, say if you're in say your second ball and you've halfway through the next square, which will be this square, what you do is you find the color that you're working on, or the next color in your next ball. You'll have to probably pull out the center and cut the yarn, and then continue on, and then you'll come up with, see, this one finished with blue, and then yeah, basically you just keep making the colors flow one after the other, and you'll eventually end up using it all. And the border itself is actually one whole ball. So this is for the baby size, so the 2x2 size. Now the pattern has only the border has only been written for a square shaped blanket, but sizes 2, 4 and 6 are the same, where this row here is different, and then sizes 3 and 5, so the odd number of squares across and down, is different again. So if you really wanted to make a rectangular size blanket, you would have to do, say, 2x4 or 4x6 or 3x5. That's how you'd have to do a rectangular blanket for the border to work. So it is possible to do a rectangular blanket, it's just that you have to make sure that it's the same, like a 3x5, 2x4, 4x6. Also too, I'm not going to be covering joining in for this pattern because there are quite a few different ways to join. Now for this one, I have slip stitched into the back loops, but you can do the join as you go if you're familiar with it when you do the side on the last row, or you can do a zigzag slip stitch, or you can actually sew the squares together. It's up to you, but I haven't included any instructions on how to join the squares, simply because I'm leaving it up to you to choose your joining method. So let's get started, and this video tutorial, as I said, it will be the first half of the square, so round 1 to 18. So let's get started and let's make the unconditional love. Okay, for the video tutorial, I am going to be changing colours, so I'm just using yarn out of my stash or my scrap yarn. So what I'm using here is Stylecraft Special DK. So I've got Clematis, Magenta, Violet, Aspen and White. They're the colours that I'll be using for this video tutorial. And as you can see, I absolutely love how this colorway has come together. And I'm using a teal from my scrap yarn, which I think is Fiddlesticks Superb 8. So yeah, so basically this is a bit of a scrappy one that I've done up and I'm just using for the video tutorial. So yeah, let's get started on round 1 of the Unconditional Love square. Okay, to start, we make a slip knot and chain 4. Slip stitch to that first chain to form a ring. Now you can use your magic ring if you want, but I find the magic ring does come undone a little. Now for round 1, chain 2. Now that counts as our first double crochet, and then we do 11 double crochet into the ring. Now I will mention that this pattern has been written to use gradient or cake yarns, so I will be fastening off to change colours for the video tutorial. And the pattern is in US terms, the video is in US terms too. It's also a great pattern to use some scrap yarns up as well. And when we've done our 11 double crochets, just simply slip stitch to the second starting chain, like that. And that is round 1 complete. Let's go on to round 2. Okay, to start round 2, we need to make a starting puff. So to make a starting puff, we chain 1 and pull up the loop slightly, yarn over, go into that chain, and we do that 4 times, so it's a puff 4. Pull through, chain 1 to secure. Just need to chain 1, puff 4 into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all the loops, chain 1 to secure, chain 1, and we repeat that right around, and we'll slip stitch to the first puff 4. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 2, and you should have 12 puff 4s and 12 chain 1s in this round. So that's round 2. Let's go on to round 3. Just a note before we start round 3, the next couple of rows will probably ruffle a bit, but that will be evened out once we do the shell section of the flower. So let's go on to round 3. We do a slip stitch to the chain 1 space, and we'll make a starting double crochet 3 cluster. So chain 1 and then a double crochet 3, chain 1, double crochet 3 cluster into the same space, chain 1, and then we do a double crochet 3 cluster, chain 1, double crochet 3 cluster into the next chain 1 space. And that is our repeat for the round, making sure that you have a chain 1 between each double crochet 3 cluster. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round, where you'll finish with a chain 1 after the double crochet 3 cluster, chain 1, double crochet 3 cluster in the last chain space. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 3, and as you can see, it's slightly ruffled already. So what we want to do is slip stitch to the first cluster, and that is round 3 complete. Let's go on to round 4. Okay, to start round 4 we need to slip stitch to the chain 1 space and make a starting popcorn. So to make a starting popcorn, we chain 2, that counts as the first double crochet, and then 4 double crochet into the same space, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the second chain around the back and pull through. Chain 1 to secure, chain 1, popcorn into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 to secure, chain 1, and we just repeat that around. So popcorn, chain 1, all the way around until we get to the last chain space. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 4 and I've slip stitched to the first popcorn. I'm going to be changing colors, so I'm going to fasten off, but if you're using like the cake yarns, just slip stitch to the chain 1 space as per written in the pattern to start round 5. So let's start round 5. Okay, start round 5, you slip stitch to the chain 1 space and chain 1, that does not count as a stitch. Because I'm changing colours, I'm using a standing single crochet. So we do 3 single crochet into the chain 1 space, skip the popcorn, 3 single crochet into the next chain space, and we just repeat that right around until you get back to the last chain space, and you just slip stitch to the first single crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, I'm at the end of round 5 and I've slip stitched to the first single crochet. So let's go on to round 6. Okay, to start round 6 we want to chain 1 and single crochet into the same stitch. Now for this round we will be working back around the single crochets later on in the next few rounds when we have to square off our flower. So if you want, place a stitch marker in each single crochet so that way you can find them later on. Next we want to skip 2 stitches and do 6 double crochet into the next stitch, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the next. So that will be our repeat for the round. Skip 2 stitches, 6 double crochet, only done 5, 6 double crochet into that stitch, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the next. So if you want, put stitch markers in the single crochets, because what will happen is this round here where we chain, a bit hard to show you with it all secured in, you'll be working around the single crochet, so that right there, be working around the single crochet so that way we can work in behind the petals and square off our flower. So that's why we need to mark our single crochets if you won't be able to find them later on. It'd be great if you're using gradient or cake yarn, because the stitches can get lost when the colours are melding together. But if you're changing colours like I am, you'll be able to find them a bit better. So we'll do the repeat. So skip 2 stitches, 6 double crochet into the next stitch, skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next. So just pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 6 and I've finished with 6 double crochet. So we're omitting the last single crochet in the repeat when we get to the end, and just slip stitch to the single crochet. Now I'm changing colours, so I'm fastening off. So next, because I've fastened off, when you're working this round, we'll be doing front post double crochet. So make sure if you put stitch markers in that they sit at the back and you don't work into them. So let's start round 7 and I'll go through it with you. Okay, to start round 7, we want to chain 1 and then front post double crochet around the popcorn in round 4. So it's directly below where we are. Next, we want to skip the single crochet and back post half double crochet around the next 6 stitches. Then we want to front post double crochet around the popcorn in front of the single crochet in round 4, and that will be our repeat for this round. So we'll start looking a little like that. So the repeat is to skip the single crochet, back post half double crochet the next 6 stitches, front post double crochet around the popcorn in round 4, and we repeat that right around, omitting the last front post double crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 6, and to finish off we're going to do a backward slip stitch. So just pull a loop on your last stitch, turn your work, and then insert your hook into the top of the front post double crochet from the back to the front. Put the loop on your hook, and then pull through, and that is a backward slip stitch. So let's go on to round 7. To start round 7, we need to chain 1, do a front post single crochet around the front post double crochet, skip 1 stitch, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and we do that 3 more times. So you'll have 8 half double crochet on that petal. And then we skip the next stitch, front post single crochet around the front post double crochet. and that is our repeat for this round. So skip 1 stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch 4 times, skip 1 stitch, front post single crochet around the front post double crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where we'll finish with the 2 double crochet in the second last stitch here. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of the round and we want to finish off with a backward slip stitch again. So put it into your first, into the front post single crochet. It can be a bit hard to find. And pull through. Now I'm not going to fasten off just yet because I want to show you how to start round 9 if you aren't changing colours. So let's go on to round 9. So for round 9, to start round 9, if you're not changing colours, you need to chain 2 and then slip stitch into the single crochet that you got your stitch marker in, and then chain 1, and then this is the trickiest bit. You've got to put your hook around. It's easier to find it from the front. Around, see where I got my hook? It's just after that shell, around the single crochet. So we want to make a back post single crochet, and that's how you do a back post single crochet. So that's how you start round 9. If you find that too difficult, just simply fasten off and just start with the back post single crochet around that first single crochet. So I'm just going to fasten off and I'll start round 9. So to start round 9, I'm going to do a back post single crochet. So as you can see, I've got my stitch marker in the single crochet, and we're just going to do a back post, but we've got to make sure that we don't get our front post double crochet as well when we're doing that. Let's take that stitch marker out. Next we want to chain 5 and then back post single crochet around the single crochet in this round. So we've got, so like I showed you before, it's easier to find it from the front. So just stick your hook in between the shell and to the other shell behind that front post double crochet, and we just keep doing that. So back post single crochet, chain 5, and we just do that all the way around. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of the round and I've slip stitched the first back post single crochet. So as you can see, we've created basically a chain link so that way we can square off our flower, and we'll be working into these chains in our next round. So let's go on to round 10. Okay, to start round 10, we need to chain 1 and half double crochet into that same stitch, and then we want to do 5 half double crochet into that chain 5 space, and then half double crochet into the next stitch. So you'll have 5 in the on the chain 5 space and 1 in the back post single crochet. So repeat that around, and if you need to, and the good thing is that you can move the stitches on the chain space. So if you bunch them up like this when you're making them, they're bunched up, all you need to do is just spread them out slightly. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 10. I've finished with 5 half double crochet in the chain 5 space. So just slip stitch to the first half double crochet. So let's go on to round 11. Okay, to start round 11, we want to slip stitch to the first stitch, so the next stitch, which is the first stitch in the chain 5 space, chain 1, half double crochet into the same stitch. Next we want to front post double crochet around the front post single crochet, so that's an increase. Then we want it, because we've worked into that first one, half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. Now the 6th stitch will be the half double crochet in the front post single crochet, sorry, in the first half double crochet in the chain space. So that will be our repeat for the round. Front post double crochet around the front post single crochet of round 8, half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round, where we'll continue on with squaring up our flower. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 11, where I finished with 5 half double crochet. I slip stitch to the first half double crochet, and that's round 11 completed. So let's go on to round 12. Okay, to start round 12, we slip stitch to the front post double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet into the same stitch, and then we want to skip 1 stitch and half double crochet into the next 5 stitches, two half double crochet into the next stitch, which will be the front post double crochet, half double crochet into the next 6 stitches, two half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next 5 stitches, okay, so we got the one there and then the front post. Then we want to skip 1 stitch and half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet into the front post double crochet. So that's our repeat for this round. Skip 1 stitch, 5 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, 6 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, 5 half double crochet, skip 1, half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet in the front post double crochet. So repeat that around and we'll finish with 5 half double crochets. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I finished round 12 and I've slip stitched to the first half double crochet. So let's start round 13. Okay, to start round 13, we slip stitch to the chain 2 space and make a starting puff 4. So it's a chain 1 and then we do our puff 4. Pull through all loops, chain 1 to secure, chain 1, and we repeat that 2 more times. So puff 4, chain 1 to secure, chain 1, and then puff 4 again, pull through all loops, chain 1 to secure, chain 1. Okay, so this is our repeat for the round. Skip 2 stitches, so that's the half double crochet of the V and the next one, and we do a half double crochet, 2 together, and then we half double crochet into the next 15 stitches. And then we do a half double crochet, 2 together in the next 2 stitches. Skip one, sorry, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, puff 4, chain 1, 3 times into the chain 2 space. And that will be our round repeat. Skip 2 stitches, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet into the next 15 stitches, half double crochet 2 together, skip the next stitch, sorry, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then do a puff 4, chain 1 3 times into the chain 2 space of the V. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where you'll finish with a double crochet 2 together and a chain 1. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 13 and I've done my chain 1. So I just need to slip stitch to the first puff 4. So let's go on to round 15. So to start round 15, we slip stitch to the chain 1 space and make a starting popcorn. So it's a chain 2 and 4 double crochet, and close it, popcorn, chain to close the popcorn, chain 1, popcorn into the same space, Now this is going to be the start of our round repeat. Chain 2, which is our corner of our square, popcorn, chain 1 popcorn into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, popcorn into the next chain space, now if you want, place a stitch marker in that chain 2 space, so when we do our next round, which will be just shaping around all this, you'll know where to put your corner stitches. But your stitch counts count from the chain 2 space to the next chain 2 space of the next group. So we've got our popcorn done. Want to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet into the next 2, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet into the next 12 stitches, so I'll just pause the video and I'll meet you once we've done the 12. Okay, so I've done my 12 half double crochet. Next we want to make a half double crochet 2 together in these last 2 stitches, chain 1, popcorn into the chain 1 space, chain 1, popcorn, we'll do a popcorn, chain 1, popcorn into this next space, and that's our repeat for this round. So chain 2, popcorn, chain 1, popcorn into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, popcorn into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet in the next 12 stitches, half double crochet 2 together, chain 1, popcorn into the chain 1 space, chain 1, popcorn, chain 1, popcorn into the next chain space. So and then obviously, so that is the repeat. So once we've done that, we'll start again with the chain 2, and if you want, put your stitch markers in the corners. So repeat that around and you'll finish with a popcorn in the chain 1 space here, and then we'll slip stitch to the first popcorn. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I finished round 14 and I've slip stitched to the first popcorn. So what we want to do to start round 15, we want to slip stitch to the chain 2 space. So into the chain 1, into the popcorn, and then into the chain 2 space. So let's start round 15. Okay, so what we want to do is chain 2, that counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the chain 2 space, so that's our corner made. Next we want to do a front post double crochet around the popcorn, half double crochet into the chain 1 space, front post half double crochet around the popcorn, and we do that twice. So that's what we've done so far. And then we want to do a half double crochet in the chain 1 space, skip the next stitch, which is the half double crochet 2 together. We want to do single crochet into the next 13 stitches. So pause the video, and once we've done the 13, I'll meet you back up. Okay, so I've done my 13 single crochet. Next we want to do a half double crochet in the chain 1 space, front post half double crochet around the popcorn, and we do that twice. Half double crochet into the chain 1 space, front post double crochet around the popcorn, and then 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the chain 2 space. And that's our repeat for the round. So I'll go through it again. Front post double crochet, half double crochet, front post half double crochet twice, half double crochet in the chain 1 space, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next 13 stitches, half double crochet, front post double crochet twice, half double crochet, front post double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the chain 2 corner. So as you can see, we're squaring off the flower. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where we'll slip stitch into the second starting chain. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 15 and I finished with a front post double crochet, slip stitch to the second starting chain. Let's go on to round 16. Okay, to start round 16, I need to slip stitch to the chain 2 space, chain 2, counts as a double crochet, and then do a double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the same space. Now this is the start of our repeat for the round. Double crochet into the next 8 stitches, half double crochet into the next 3 stitches, single crochet into the next 7 stitches, half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So your last half double crochet will be in your last single crochet of the previous round, and then double crochet in the last 8 stitches. Okay, so I've done the 8 double crochet and then 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the chain 2 space. So I'll go through that repeat again. Double crochet in the first 8 stitches, half double crochet the next 3, single crochet in the next 7, half double crochet in the next 3, double crochet in the last 8 stitches, and then do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, I've finished round 16 and I've slip stitched to the second starting chain. So let's start round 17. To start round 17, we need to slip stitch to the chain 2 space, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the chain 2 space, and then we skip the next stitch and double crochet into each stitch to the next corner, and when you get to the corner, do a 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and just repeat that around. So skip a stitch, double crochet in each stitch to the next corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, I'm at the end of round 17, so just slip stitch to the second starting chain. Now I'll be changing colours to do round 18, but if you're not changing colours, slip stitch to start round 18, you slip stitch to the chain 2 space. So fastening off, and let's go on to round 18. Okay, to start round 18, like I said, if you're not changing colours, slip stitch to the chain 2 space and chain 1, and then half double crochet. But I'm just going to do a standing half double crochet in the chain 2 space, chain 2, half double crochet into the same space, and then back post half double crochet around each stitch to the next corner, and then do half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet in the corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you back around at the start. Okay, I'm back at the start of round 18 and we just simply slip stitch to the first half double crochet. And that's it for this video. It's just that otherwise it'll be a very long video for you to watch. So come back for the second part of the square, where we will be doing the granny stitch and the other flowers and our popcorn border. So yeah, so this is the end of the first part of the video, and as you can see, it's actually you can easily have it just as a square on its own if you wish. And yeah, so I'll come back with the second part of the video where we will continue on. So I'll see you with the next video.